The first I have to keep in mind is the position of the jigsaw shoe. This one has a wheel to release the shoe, to put it at 45 degrees with the blade. And because there is a notch there, it is easy to put it back at 90 degrees with the blade. In case of a jigsaw shoe without that notch, I should be very careful to put the shoe at 90 degrees with the help of the square. When I installed the jigsaw, I realized that the blade was tilted like this. So now I want to cut that sheet to tilt the jigsaw like this, to correct the position of the blade. I want to cut the sheet in the back side. I cut it with the chisel. Actually, now I think the problem was the jigsaw blade clamping mechanism, but I will talk about that in the next video. And now, with the shoe against the sheet I have just cut, I cut the slot for the blade. This will make a wider slot, so it won't force the blade to tilt. I check if the blade is at 90 degrees with the front of the plywood board, and so the blade should be parallel with the sides of the board. I retouch the sheet as many times as needed. I don't cut there, and I make a progressively wider cut to the back of the sheet, to tilt the shoe like this. I can use the file to be more precise, but it leaves an uncut thin piece of sheet in the bottom that I have to cut with the chisel. After repeating this several times, the slot for the blade is quite wide, so I don't need to cut it again. I put the jigsaw there, pushing the shoe against the sheet I have just cut, and I insert some splinters in the gap between the shoe and the sheet I have in this side. And now I can use the wing nuts to fix the jigsaw. I install the jigsaw blade and I check the position, and now I think it is okay. Something important to keep in mind is the power of the jigsaw. This one is 600 watts. There are a lot of cheap jigsaws, but usually the power of most of them is not more than 350 watts, like this one. I cannot install it below the board, because the blade clamping mechanism is broken. But anyway, I think it has not enough power to use it like a jigsaw table. With this short blade, it would probably cut good enough. This is the blade I showed in the video where I installed the jigsaw under the board. But the metallic sheet of the long blade I use is thicker, and it also has bigger teeth, so it probably needs more power to cut. And we can see this blade is absolutely flat, while in the long blade we can see the teeth protruding to one side and to the other side, so the saw cut is wider than the blade. When I use one blade and then I use the other, I can feel the different power each blade needs to cut the wood. When I made the sled, the strips I used to make the runners were short. They should be as long as the base, but I just wanted to make the most of the piece of plywood I used. Even so, when I put it on the jigsaw table, it doesn't wobble. As I mentioned in a previous video, with the help of the slot I have in the fence of the sled, I can make precise cuts. I have to keep in mind that if I cut very near the end of the strip, I can only hold the strip with one hand, so I need to hold it hard, because the blade can make it jump and that could ruin the cut. It would be better to have something to clamp the strip, because I don't like to put my fingers very near the blade. But if I can use both hands, it is easy to hold the strip in place when I cut it. And the cut is nice, clean and square. It would be perfect to make 90 degrees joints using dowels or pocket holes. I can cut faster, but let's see the difference. As we can see, if I try to cut faster, there is more splintering, and the surface is much more coarse. And finally, when I need to turn the jigsaw on, I don't have any problem, because there is a button to block the trigger. But when I need to turn it off, if I get distracted, I could put my hand there, near the blade clamping mechanism. It would be better to put there some kind of barrier, to make sure I won't put my hand near the clamping mechanism, but making sure that the barrier doesn't make installing and uninstalling the blade even more difficult. Thanks for watching. You can find all my woodworking videos in my channel. And if you like my videos, thanks for subscribing to my channel.